atomic batteries to power engines to speed. There we go. Hey, folks, next thing of the BAMFcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty, and we have a small, intimate, if you will, roundtable today with myself, Abe Smith, and Jacob Blackman. And I've got a bunch of stuff we're going to discuss, but our primary subject of discussion is the Judas Contract, the recently released animated direct-to-streaming, direct-to-video release featuring the Teen Titans. Jacob, since it was your idea to discuss this, I think you want to kind of set it up for the listeners what this movie was about.
Sure. The Judas Contract, for those who are not familiar with it, was a story told in the pages of the new Teen Titans back in the early 80s. And it featured what back then was pretty unprecedented, which was turning a well-liked and established hero and having them suddenly betray the team. This, for those who have seen the Teen Titans animated series, you would be familiar with this with their second season storyline, with Terra betraying the Titans to Deathstroke, the Terminator, also known as Slade. But this movie follows a little more closely to the original comic book in that Slade is not the big enemy behind it, but it is in fact Hive, who is being controlled by the evil and immortal Brother Blood. And he has hired Slade to infiltrate the Titans through Terra, and eventually betrays them and turns them over to Hive so that Brother Blood can steal their powers and become a living god.
I haven't had a chance to see it in its entirety myself, but I did watch the old plot line on Teen Titans. What's 10 years ago that they did on that cartoon?
Yeah, it's actually been a while.
Yeah. So, Jacob, what'd you think?
As usual, I was pretty impressed with the. I've been generally impressed with most of the recent DC animated films, and this one continued to do pretty well in terms of its story and letting you get in touch with the characters before bad things start to happen, so you really start to understand motivations. One thing I forgot to mention was the Judas Contract was also the famous turning point in the comic books when Dick Grayson stopped becoming Robin and started becoming Nightwing. That is not so much a key element in the movie, as Dick Grayson in the movie is already Nightwing, but it doesn't take away anything from the story. It's still a good story to watch. You still get nice character interactions. It mostly focuses on what the betrayal aspect and the infiltration and hopefully a shot at redemption in the future.
When you say redemption, who do you mean?
Hopefully for Terra. The end of the film.
Hang on just a second. I'm going to spoilers. Okay, we can continue now.
Well, like I said, if for anyone who's seen the second season of Teen Titans, they pretty much know the story. It's Terra is the betrayer, and that's pretty much that. But in the end, she starts turning on the people who have. She starts turning on Slade because she feels betrayed by him. That he didn't keep his promises to her. That he was just using her instead. So, in the end, it's left very unclear of what is going to happen with Terra, because it looks like she dies, and then there's a scene towards the end where maybe she isn't. They leave it very nebulous.
You're talking about the scene when they dug her out of the rubble during the Kevin Smith cameo?
Yes.
Huh. Because I thought that was pretty clear she was dead, but I mean, I admit you don't see her go into a little door at the morgue, so there could be some ambiguity there. Aid, what do you think?
I thought it was really good. I've never read the original stuff. I've never read the Perez series. It's always on my reading list as something to pick up when they've done it in hardbacks and stuff now, and it's something okay, gonna get it. We'll do eventually. But yeah, it was really cool. It was good that they did a flashback scene right at the beginning with Dick Grayson as Robin and all the other Titans as kind of like their younger counterparts, with the appearance of Starfire, wasn't it, coming through?
Yeah, I really liked that scene.
And that was really cool. Yeah. So that was good. That was a good start. One good thing I thought was really good about it as well was because we've had the Raven one previously, and this is the same continuity as the Raven stuff. So that's nice. We've got a continuation of the storyline. Yeah. I thought it was really cool that they built upon Blue Beetle's backstory in this. They actually made time to give Blue Beetle a backstory, rather than kind of just like it all being action. It was like, okay, we're going to show him that his bug hates everybody, and it kind of he has to try and work it out with his parents and stuff. That was really cool because that was something I didn't expect to see in this, because obviously Blue Beetle wasn't around in the original Judas Contract run.
Damian Wayne.
Yeah. So that was cool.
How do we feel about Damian Wayne in this?
I
like Damian Wayne in this, actually.
One of the things I'm actually surprised about is Damian Wayne finally seemed to learn all the you have to be a team player lessons that he had to learn again and again and again in the previous 4 movies he was in.
That is the problem. You can you give this guy an attitude, and it's like, okay, and then eventually he's either got to learn or he's just repeating the same stuff over and over again, which ironically enough reminds me of player characters in RPG games as well. Player characters in RPG. Oh, I'm the badass that doesn't trust anybody, and you'll play that same character for 25 sessions or whatever. And it's like, well, surely by now you should have learned your lesson. You can trust these guys. Oh no, nobody seems to want to evolve their character. They stick with that concept. They never want to kind of break out of that. And yeah, I think the writers kind of go, well, Damian Wayne, he's a badass and he doesn't like anybody. They don't go any further than that. So hopefully we'll see some development of him actually trusting people. I like the way he plays off of other people, and he plays up to Raven quite nicely as well in this. And he's spars with Dick Grayson quite a lot, like they did in the old Morrison Batman and Robin comics, which was really cool. So yeah, some development from him, very good.
Yeah, the verbal spars between Damian and Dick are pretty fun to watch, and it's always especially fun to watch because even though Damian never admits it, Dick always wins those spars.
So the only drawback I can think of, which again is not a problem with the thing, is that if this was a TV series, Terra would have been introduced in a previous story or before. We only see Terra in this, so people know.
At the very end of the credits in the previous Teen Titans, the Teen Titans versus the Justice League, you saw a scene of Terra coming in floating on a rock.
Yeah, and who do we see at the end of this one?
Wonder Girl.
Wonder Girl, yeah, which is even cooler. So yeah, that's like, okay, that's really smart. So yeah, so we expect Wonder Girl in the next Titans one. But yeah, I would obviously, for the sake of if we're not doing something permanently every couple of weeks, we can't introduce the stuff and then kind of go, oh my god, it's her all along, because it's like, hey, this is the new character. Guess which one the trailer is. But so that's fine. But yeah, it was really good. I thought it was really excellent. The animation's beautiful. Again, I like the character designs because some of the character designs in the past have been a bit strange. The Dark Knight character designs I wasn't particularly fond of. And I think one of the previous Justice League stuff I've been like, okay, but these I really like the artwork in this as well. Yeah, very cool.
It's pretty much been the same animation team from what I recall doing most of it, which is the same animation team they use in Young Justice. So if you're familiar with that TV series, it's you're going to get the same crew doing the animated films. The There was one little bit in this movie that I thought was very weird. During the climactic fight scene at the end, when Tara wakes up, until the end of the fight scene, maybe it's just my artistic eye, but the animation looked different during that particular time. Once she wakes up and says, "Slade, I'm going to kill you," to the end of the fight, the animation style looked completely different.
I didn't catch that, but I know from previous experience, artist friends tend to watch that sort of thing more closely than I do. So,
like I said, maybe it was just my eye.
Hey, do you have any opinion on that?
I don't remember that at all. I have to go back and look. But it could be reshoots. I mean, there's a possibility they may have altered it, or test screens and all. You never know these things nowadays.
It's possible, yeah.
I mean, but or just particularly because they go, okay, right, she's really popular, or she's not really popular. Okay, let's dump her. Or, you never know. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. I have to look into that.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a look before the rental expires. I've got another 20 hours on that. I'm almost feel like a bad geek saying it, but whenever I see Teen Titans on the title of something, I expect to see Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, and Beast Boy and Robin. And when I don't, I'm like, like this one, I was like, where's Cyborg?
See, that's the thing. Because, sorry. I didn't like it when it grew on me, because when they introduced like a slightly younger Raven to counteract Damien, I was like, okay, and then you had like an older Starfire and older Nightwing. It's like, okay, how do these characters work together? And then they showed like the flashback in this one, which showed other characters that kind of filled those places. As long as it's got Beast Boy in it, I'm happy. To be honest, that's the killer. That's the one for me that makes the Titans is really cool. So they work as that kind of age gap actually does work quite nicely. The idea that Starfire is now the older character and taking charge. So I think even is the new versions of Raven, is Raven younger in the comics now, or is she just an outsider that came in later? I'm not too sure. But
having not being familiar with the Rebirth Teen Titans, I haven't read anything on that line. I couldn't say.
No, I can't remember. I literally only just read funny enough, the Lazarus Contract crossover, which just had Deathstroke in it, which had the two Titans teams in it, and I know Raven's in that. I can't remember if he's younger in that. Anyway, but yeah, it's like you say, Cyborg used to be one of my favorite Titans, and Beast Boy's always there. But yeah, Cyborg now being the Justice League, it's like, okay, fair enough. But it's a shame, because to be honest, if it was me, I would have put him in the Titans after Rebirth. Even if it's just to mention that he was previously in them because of the rejigging, because I just think him not being a member of the Titans just really doesn't sit well.
Well, I thought go ahead.
No, you.
I thought one of the reasons that he's not in this is because they established this new animated movie universe, and it's all been this way since the New 52, and they had Cyborg as a member of the Justice League since then. So because they have to build on that continuity, I thought the idea of replacing him in the Teen Titans with Blue Beetle was a fantastic idea, especially the current Blue Beetle, the one they had for Young Justice, is just a great character.
It's quite cool, yeah, because it is good. It's got a similar power set with the changeable gun arms and that kind of thing. And the idea they've kind of made him the outsider because he's Scarab, whereas Cyborg's outsider because he's part, not organic, and that's there's a kind of like similar character traits. So yeah, he's a good replacement. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I understand why you got Cyborg in the Justice League. I mean, John Stewart's doing something else. They'll make sure you get a black guy. But I mean, why just have one black guy for one? I mean, there's a couple different characters you could put in there. Number two, it's just that Cyborg doesn't really have his own rogues gallery the way most other members of the JLA do. So, but on the other hand, the stuff I've seen that Dynamic works pretty well. He gels with the group. He's
so I don't mind him being in the Justice League. I personally, the way I would have done it, I would have not had him in the Justice League from day one, but it had kind of been, because they did that thing when they did 5 years before, didn't they? I'd have had him in the lineup now, and then previously been a Titan before, so you can still have him a member of the Titans before he joined the Justice League. That's the way I would have done it. Now, just because Titans, like you say, Titans lineup is synonymic with the Perez years is the Titans lineup to me. I know there was a previous Titans lineup with obviously all the other sidekick characters, but yeah, the Perez stuff is boom. That's the Titans to me.
Yeah, it's like I said, there's 4 characters I'm used to seeing in the Titans, just because I'm probably more familiar with the animation than the comic books. But yeah, it was pretty well done. Actually, they even have Cyborg as a member of the Justice League and the Lego stuff now too.
Yeah.
So
I say, yeah. Obviously, the worst thing about it again is it's Michael Ferrier that did the voice of Deathstroke. Am I correct?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, and he's obviously died recently, so that's it. No more Deathstroke. I mean, it's just like, it was a great character, and it's just a shame that we're not going to see any more of him playing Deathstroke. He was really good, good, and obviously just in Twin Peaks as well, which is really good as well. So
great voice work. I think one of the reasons they chose on the age difference for Starfire and Nightwing in this is, not only to have that whole the Titans are a continuing thing, but so they can have all those sex jokes they wanted and not be creepy.
That's true. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they do that quite a lot. Yeah.
There was an awful lot of hey, Starfire and Dark and Nightwing are on stage now. Hey, let's have some sexy jokes. Okay, now let's go back to the rest of the plot.
It really did seem that way. Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I like the way it's going. I'm interested. And obviously, the next movie we've got lined up is Batman Harley Quinn, but that's done in the Paul Dini style rather than this stuff. So I'm assuming it's not that set aside from this. So I don't know what's going on after this, but I'm looking forward to whatever they do.
The Harley Quinn Batman thing is supposed to be an official / not official Batman animated series.
That's what it looks like to me. Yeah. The art style looks just like that. Just when Batman can be drawn similar no matter what, but the way Nightwing was drawn just seemed to be like, this is animated series Nightwing. So
and I read a little featurette where they had Bruce Timm talking about how he wrote the series, and he wrote it as basically a movie set in Batman the Animated, and it's another 48 hours with superheroes. Harley Quinn's trying to reform. She's working at a diner. Joker's breaking out. It's Poison Ivy is doing some crazy shit.
It's the bad guys in this I understand are Poison Ivy and
the
Woodrue, the Floronic Man.
Ooh, lovely. Okay.
And so Batman, says, hey, we have to team up and try, I'll put in a good word with you, probation officer, and it's like Eddie Murphy and what's his name?
Cool.
48 Hours.
Yep.
God, who was the guy in 48 Hours who wasn't Eddie Murphy?
Oh my God! Now you're asking. Jeez. I really like that film as well, and I like the second one just as much. So now I can't remember who it is.
We're getting old, isn't it?
It was Nick Nolte.
That's right.
Yeah, I was going to say Nick Cage, which I knew was wrong.
Yeah.
But speaking of old stars, has anyone seen the Pirates movies?
Oh, the
new one.
The new one? Yeah.
How was it?
Honestly, I liked the new one almost as much as I liked the very first one.
Really?
I felt it was a return to the roots of the story. The other pirate films, especially number two felt like it was a setup for number 3, and thus it felt superfluous. Also, Davy Jones and his crew being the Deep One Sahuagin creepy shark barnacle-y things seemed way too over the top in comparison to the cursed ghosts that Barbossa and his crew were. That you could only see their evil, cursed, undead forms in the moonlight. It was very subtle, whereas Davy Jones and his crew was really overt.
Yeah, they were practically the cast of Guar.
Yeah. So this new one, the fact that you're again dealing with ghosts as the enemy, made it really feel like the old one, and I really liked it. It was cool. I enjoyed it immensely.
Oh, okay. Ada, have you seen it?
No, I really, really liked the first film. I adored the first film. I even saw that at the cinema. Holy cow, it's amazing. And then I just decided the second one. Nah, this is the thing. I like this. I've got this thing about just let stuff lie. If it's good, if it's like that perfect star in the thing, why drag it out to be? I say, hey, it's really great. Let's try some shit sequels afterwards. Just be done with it. Think it's great, and then it's like, okay, that's that thing. It's the same as comic miniseries. Instead of doing a 25 issue thing, it's just do 6 issues. Everyone goes, oh, that was spectacular. That's the best 6 issues I've read. Whereas say, well, issue 12 is a bit crap, and by 18, it's absolutely terrible. So by the time the second Pirates movie comes, it's like, nah, okay, I think I have it on DVD, but I have no knowledge of it. I cannot remember it at all. And by the time the third and fourth and whatever, I've never seen any of it. So if I'm interested to see, now you've said it's like a return to the originals. Now it's like, okay, yeah, we might try it out at some point.
At the very least, watch it when it comes out on video.
Cool.
Or DVD.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because all the word of mouth I heard was, Johnny Depp was doing his lines from an earpiece and just really didn't give a shit. And I was like, all right. Johnny Depp is transferred to the late Marlon Brando stage of his career, where he's just not giving a fuck anymore. But,
just give him some money, stick him on screen, that'll do, it's fine.
But from what you're saying, maybe that was all wrong, and this is actually a good movie, so I'll check it out when it comes to streaming. Not as a way of eschewing it, just because I have a 4-year-old and it's really tough to get a sitter. So
yeah,
I catch most things on streaming. I still haven't seen Wonder Woman. So.
Oh, you poor man.
I still haven't seen John Wick 2.
Oh, you poor man.
And I feel bad for me. I did see that damn Aliens movie because my wife wanted to see for her birthday. So,
okay.
You know what? That was not a bad movie until I got to the planet. But once they, all the sci-fi stuff leading up to that was kind of interesting, like the first 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, oh, there's a problem on the ship. They have to go to a planet. Well, I know what happens now.
Yep.
And
face huggers, chest bursters, and big giant aliens with stingers.
And why are we all going off by ourselves in this dark, creepy place? I don't know. Let's just do that. Okay. So yeah, but it's an aliens movie. You go to a Transformers movie, a lot of things are going to explode. There's going to be a lot of fast cuts. You're never going to know exactly where your eyes should be on the screen. You're never going to quite understand the action sequence, and that's what you sign up for. Aliens.
Talking to Transformers, did I misread this, or did I read somewhere that he's got 14 sequels planned?
Oh Lord!
I swear I read that somewhere. It could just been a joke. I don't know, but I know that I swear he's got at least 2 or 3 that they've already kind of almost started. Like, we're in pre-production that, but I swear someone said, yeah, 14. 14 sounds about right. Yeah, that's a good Transformers. It's like, Jesus, man, that's terrible.
Well, here's the thing: they all keep making money, and not small amounts of money.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, like you say, it's a balance between quality and cash.
Well, he's not getting my money. I can tell you that.
Well, he didn't get my money for the first one, but bloody hell, he's definitely not getting any more after seeing the first 15 minutes of the second one. Jesus Christ, it's terrible. That was it. I didn't make it past the first 15 minutes of the second one.
I fall asleep when my wife makes me watch him. What happened in the first 15 minutes of the second one? The one where they're shooting up the beloved childhood character of everybody.
It was the very, very weird big wheel thing that was smashing through the thing, and then the
two racist.
Yeah. I was gonna say the two very suspect stereotypes characters that were like, these people, these robots do not belong in a Transformers film.
Yeah, with big ears, buck teeth, they don't know how to read. They're using urban slang. They're constantly fighting each other. They were every bad black stereotype wrapped up in 2 robots.
Terrible. And it was like, why would you even create characters like that? You've got there. I adore Generation 1 Transformers. I grew up with the cartoon. I had all the comics, the original Marvel run. I've pretty much picked up every single one of that. I cannot picture those guys standing next to Jazz and Bumblebee or anything in the comics. It's like, what the hell are they doing there? It's terrible.
Oh, hey, did you guys know they're going to do a remaster of Batman Mask of the Phantasm on Blu-ray?
Yes, I did see that.
One of my favorite films. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I have the video, and transferred it onto a DVD via a DVD recorder just because I really like it that much. So it's in like that crappy 480p fuzzy vision video VHS quality, but I've still got it on disc. So it's like, okay, that'll do for now.
No, I've got everything from the original Bruce Timm Paul Dini DC animated universe on DVD, and it is without a doubt my favorite incarnation of DC, probably right there next to Young Justice.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned this before in many a podcast. The best thing about the Batman animated movie animated series is that, as far as I'm aware, 95% of the plots were unique to that show. They weren't like, hey, let's just do that thing from issue 37. Oh, yes, do that. It was all pretty much unique. And that was the best thing about it. It was absolutely fantastic. And my favorite episode, I think, out of it, I think of the Jonah Hex episode because it had Jonah Hex in it.
Oh, that was a great episode.
Yeah, I really wish, but the whole universe, the Bruce Timm Paul Dini. How do you say his last name?
I say Dini. Yeah, so I say whether that's right or not.
Yeah, Dini.
Yeah, I just missed that. I mean, that stuff, Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah,
I really wish it never stopped because some of the movies have been great. I mean, the one we were just talking about, for example, but some of them haven't been. Some of them I haven't liked as much as I say liked. The average episode of those shows. But what can you do? So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching off.
Even Batman Beyond was good as well. I quite like that as well.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much, but I liked it. So
yeah, the irony being in the UK, because we're a bit thick in the UK, when they rebranded it as Batman of the Future, just in case we couldn't grasp the fact. So what? Batman Beyond? What's that mean? So no, Batman. Oh, thank God for that. Okay, right, I understand now. It's all right.
I don't think you understand the difference between education levels in the UK and the US. But yeah, I mean, I think you guys needed that. But I mean, us dullards over here in the American Midwest managed to work that out. So
yeah,
surely you clever fellows across the pond. But yeah, I'm watching a lot of DC media lately, and it's all Lego. And
oh yeah,
those are fun.
Those are fun. I'd say the latest movie is probably the best because you can tell the script went through a few rewrites. They put a lot of punch-in jokes and a lot of inside gags, a lot of recurring gags. But yeah, I wound up having these conversations with my son, and they used to all be about tow trucks and bulldozers. But now whenever we're driving somewhere, anywhere, daycare, play date, he's like, Daddy, tell me about the Scarecrow. And for every character in Lego, they all have vehicles because Lego is a toy company. And he's like, tell me about the Scarecrow and his pizza bike. Because in the Batman movie, there's a scene where Scarecrow's on a pizza bike. And my son doesn't ask me these questions once or twice. He asks me them hundreds of times. Day to day, sometimes minute to minute. And sometimes it just gets a bit much. And I don't want to snap at him. I want to respond in an interesting way. So I'm like, well, son, the Scarecrow, he was tired of the cycle of violence and recidivism. He just couldn't seem to understand why his life was going in this sort of preordained circle. So one day, instead of going to the big heist, he decided to get on his pizza bike and just deliver pizza to the people of Gotham City. And there he felt something he hadn't felt before. In all the bank robberies and criminal capers he'd been involved in, here he was providing a simple, humble service to people, and he felt of use to his fellow man. He was Scarecrow the supervillain no more. Now he was Scarecrow the pizza boy, and he was happy. And my son's quiet for a second. He's like, Dad, why does Bane have a Jeep?
I haven't seen it yet. I've got to buy it. My nephews would probably love it, so I've got to buy it for my nephews. So.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they get, about half and half of the jokes are aimed at kids and half are aimed at grown-ups. So yeah,
that's my secret reasoning though, because I also bought the first DVD for Brave and Bold a while ago to show my nephews, because I know that the eldest nephew watches the Batman '66 TV series with me every so often. So okay, I'll buy you Brave and Bold, and we put it on last week, and it's like, hey, is that Clock King? And I thought, my God, that's pretty impressive to recognize Clock King. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. So I'm sure if we get the Batman Lego movie, it's like, hey, it's the Scarecrow. That'd be pretty cool. So
hey, do you guys know about Return of the Cape Crusaders? You guys seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you guys think?
Yeah.
For a return to the 66 universe, it was excellently done. I liked all the little inside jokes where, you know, he gets hit over the head and sees three different Catwomen, and I like one of the points that they make towards the end of showing the real difference between that Batman and the modern incarnation of Batman.
Yeah, there's a couple pointed scenes where they have Batman being a real jerk, sort of the way he is in the modern version, and they're like, "Wow, he's being a jerk there."
Yeah, it's a very stark contrast.
Now, you guys have heard. I just recently watched. I got it for my birthday, and I really liked it. Of course, I grew up on the old TV show, so I'm kind of a mark for that. But did you guys know they're making a sequel?
Yeah, so in the bag.
Yeah, it's in the bag. Apparently, Adam West did his audio before he passed on.
That's right, all completed. So it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
You hear who William Shatner is playing in that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why don't you guys tell me this stuff if you know about this?
I did, yeah. I don't know if it's anything to do with because they obviously did the 66 comic book they're Two-Face in, didn't they? That it was like a lost script. Whether or not it's anything to do with that, or whether or not it's just like the version of Two-Face we would have seen in the TV series, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I thought the first one was pretty good. I could the kind of the kookiness of it was very in kind of sync of the original TV series, and I can see like the car where it's kind of splits up and turns around. I can see that in the TV series. The only thing about that and the comics is that if anything, the kind of backgrounds were too vast, because obviously they just filmed in that little lot in the TV series, and by the time the third series comes, it's just like black backgrounds with a couple of door frames and stuff. So if anything, it was too perfect as such. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, seeing what their version of Gotham City was like was a little odd and jarring, considering, you know, they filmed it in Los Angeles, which is very different than any East Coast cities. So the fact that you really didn't see tall buildings in the 60s series, other than, of course, the giant police building, but that's a pretty iconic building in Los Angeles. So seeing the tall Gotham buildings in the animated series, in this animated 66 movie, and you're going, "What?" it's very weird looking.
Yeah, I would be up for a whole series of more movies being done in this universe, but I'm guessing with Adam West having passed on, that's probably not going to happen.
I think exactly that's the thing. Yeah, I think it's kind of like out of respect. I don't think they'll do it, and and that was the key selling point, really. It's like Adam West is coming back, you know. So
what they could segue to, because they no longer have Adam West, they could instead do animated Wonder Woman 77 movies.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Because Linda Carter's still around.
That would be awesome. I would buy that in a snap.
I would too.
Fantastic. They really should. And I don't think we actually said it out loud. I sure meant to. William Shatner is playing Two-Face.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
So that's
cool.
Cool.
It's the same as my love of the TV series Batgirl. It's like, I think she's passed on as well. So it's like
Yvonne Craig is. So
it's like, oh, it's terrible. So yeah, we're never gonna hear that voice again, and it's just a real shame. But yeah, I'm glad we've at least getting a sequel, if nothing else. But yeah, no, Wonder Woman 77 would be absolutely brilliant and perfect timing. I mean, why the hell not? Why not do it now?
Yeah, they really should. I hope they do. So hey, a few other things we want to mention before we wrap up here, and we've got a huge thunderstorm rolling in, so I should probably wrap up sooner rather than later. Comic books. Well, you know what? Gaming stuff, because we're a gaming podcast. So, God damn it, let's mention something gaming related. Freedom City 3rd edition art is coming out. You go to greenorder.com, blog post from the 19th of June, and Crystal Frazier has posted a bunch of really beautiful cityscapes from some of the new artists, and you should check it out. If I recall correctly, they don't actually give us any dates for when the book's coming out, but
I think it's coming up for pre-order pretty soon, so it's got to be pretty sharpish.
Yeah, they said it was going to be available in the summer.
Saying that, I don't even know if it's actually in previews this month, because I think the previews have also got the front cover to the Rogues Gallery, which myself and Chris McLaughlin and a few others contributed to, and so I swear it was next to that. To the previews.
Well, let me know what you find there. Obviously, we're looking at Crystal and Mr. McLaughlin back on together at some point to, along with you, Aid, to talk about third edition in a little bit more detail. But we'll see what the previews tell us. Sorry. And moving on. All right, 2 comic book things I can ask about. And the first one is the one I'm most confused about. This whole metal event at DC, the Batman Metal is coming out.
Sorry, my mistake. It was the Critical Role campaign setting that was also in there. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry, carry on, sir.
So, what is Batman Metal?
What is Batman Metal? Batman is metal. He's Kiss fan. Okay. Batman. Wait, actually, fun enough, Batman Metal is a kind of like a crossover standalone thing with Batman discovering something weird is going on with the multiverse, or the Dark Multiverse as it has now been named, and it's to do with the nth metal that Hawkman's equipment is made out of, and there's apparently links to the various elements and metals that have been mentioned in Snyder's Batman run. I believe I think it's Dynosium that was the possibly responsibility for the Joker being a eternal character, one of the potential 3 that was mentioned in the Rebirth thing. But at the moment, we've only had the first issue. I don't know if there's another issue coming out this month, but I've only seen the first issue. The first issue was effectively Batman being a bit of an idiot to everybody because he's trying to keep this whole thing a secret. But it did have a particularly cool cameo from Mr. Miracle, because he needed to open something that was really big and nobody else could open it. So Mr. Miracle came along and opened it for him. We had a cameo appearance by Plastic Man as Plastic Man in a little kind of like a ball in like this weird kind of restraint thing, which is fantastic because Plastic Man is one of the coolest characters ever. And we had the appearance of the Anti-Monitor's Tower from Crisis of Infinite Earths. Something to do with that. So that's kind of like where that left off. But apparently we're getting one-shots, and I think we're getting a couple of other bits and bobs that are going to tie into some of the other series. But the one-shots are effectively going to be dark universe versions of Batman tied up with other members of the Justice League. So there's apparently there's like a Batman Aquaman character called the Drowned, and I think there's one that's called the Machine, which is a cyborg Batman character, and all this kind of stuff. So there's going to be a lot of dark, evil Batman people running around at some point.
Damn. Okay.
It looks really good. I'm interested because again, it's I don't know if it's tied into the whole again, spoilers if you've not seen it, but I do believe it came out last week. The whole Batman possibly quitting because he's proposed to Catwoman thing, and we're going to see something there, and we might see some of these Batman kind of pop over because they tend to do that quite a lot. They tend to do obviously now, whereas back in the old days, like a crossover would be like self-contained. It wouldn't really go, oh well, don't worry about that. That's just a story. The potential of these other Batmen obviously coming in, maybe something will happen. Maybe we'll go like the Azrael route we did for the old Bane years, and we'll have a Batman takeover from Bruce while he does something different. I don't know. So, but yeah,
well, Dick Grayson was just Batman like 2 years ago, right?
Two years ago. It's longer than 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's
like 5 years now, isn't it, or something? By now,
it was a while. It was actually a pretty while ago.
Don't think about it too hard because that means that's how long its time has passed. But yeah,
it was before the New 52.
Exactly. Yeah.
Story,
yeah.
Oh wow! I've been doing this podcast for a long time. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so don't think about it because you'll just go, crikey, where'd the time go? So yeah.
That's all right.
I'm looking forward to it. I like Hawkman. I'm interested to see. Oh, Mr. Terrific showed up as well, coming back from Earth 2, and actually explained how he'd come back from Earth 2 rather than just going, "Hey, Mr. Terrific, what are you doing here?" Well, I don't know. So we're possibly seeing something that's going to tie into the JSA returning, and obviously because Mr. Terrific's that, and obviously if we bring back a decent version of Hawkman, or hopefully Hawkgirl as well, because that'd be even cooler, then we will see some more JSA stuff. So,
all right. Well, that's all good news. What's going on with the Marvel Legacy renumbering? I don't know anything about that.
This is part of their rebranding that we're seeing, kind of again spinning out of Secret Empire. That apparently the Generations books are coming first of all, which everybody thought was just like either like a time travel story or something like that. But apparently there is some kind of plot point in the end of Secret Empire, which is going to allow the current versions of characters such as Miss Marvel team up with the previous versions of characters such as Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel, which is going to be brilliant because I really love Marvel. And the proper Hulk coming back and all this kind of stuff. So that's kind of where that's going. But then they're going to do Legacy, which is apparently going to be a one-shot, which is got an Alex Ross cover, which is absolutely brilliant, and looks like it actually contains pictures of the original versions of characters rather than the more modern versions. And then they're renumbering all the books to kind of fill in back to where they were. So I think we're on Venom 154 by then. We're on like Spider-Man 700 or something, and we're on hundreds and hundreds of issues into the stuff. Why they need that, I don't know, because hopefully it will stop lots of reboots. Because the idea you can kind of like start, to get to like 798 or something, and go, yeah, we're rebooting to issue 1 again. So that's just, that would be nice. But for me personally, again, it shouldn't really matter what number a book is, as long as it continues. But I really do like picking up a book and it being like issue 700 or something. Like I buy 2000 AD every week, and I get I've had 2000 AD now for like 25 years, and it's 1700 or something like that. It's ridiculous. So I like that. I do like the idea of like consistency, but a lot of the legacy numbers seem to have been derived from like mini-series and stuff, and kind of like where there's been like a Venom mini-series, that's 6 issues, we count that. Whereas rather than straight actual ongoing series. But we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it's a good plan and if it will make a difference. It might just be we continue doing reboots or whatever. But apparently one of the side things of it is going to be they're actually going to cut down the number of books that Marvel are putting out as well. So we may see, I know like Doctor Strange apparently is being cut back to 1 book. We may see like, or maybe all the Guardians won't have a book each, and they'll just be in the Guardians book and stuff like that, which personally, brilliant idea. I think, if you can tell a story with a character and they've already in a book, then I don't see why you just don't tell a story of that character in that book. Well, there you go.
Oh, there are an awful lot of books on the shelves every month, and a lot of them get canceled, and new series get commissioned, and then they get canceled, and there's a sizable amount of churn, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, we could. Know that apparently, like the Captain America book, because we've got the Falcon Cap and original Cap. Apparently, the legacy version of Captain America is, I don't know if it's just called Captain America or Captain Americas or whatever, but there's only going to be 1 book, and it might have both of them in it. We don't know at the moment, so. I think it needs to be done. I got a shake up, and I don't know. I just want to. If they bring Bruce Banner back, that'd be the best thing out of it. If that's the only outcome out of the entire thing, Bruce is back as the Hulk. That's brilliant.
Well, that's probably inevitable. But so is that happening this summer or this fall? When's that
happen? I believe we've got Secret Empire till September, and I think Generations is October, and I think that's November, but I could be wrong. It's somewhere in there that time anyway, because Secret Empire's had 1 extra book put into it, because again, just like the last crossover, we forgot to do it's going to be 1 episode longer because we thought of a better ending, and then I think they've even put an extra ending on that, which is going to have a lot of this generation tie into it as well. So, but we're getting there.
Either one of you guys reading Secret Empire?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I wouldn't say I'm boycotting it. I just really kind of, once I heard Captain America,
I'm not interested in Cap as a Nazi.
Yeah,
I don't mind that. That doesn't bother me in the least. I think it's a quite a cool idea, because I mean, what's the best Star Trek episodes? Mirror Universe episodes. So the idea of a bad Cap isn't too bad. Again, the problem I have more than anything else is it's the idea of the feeling. It may not necessarily be true, but the feeling is, hey, buy the 6 core books. Oh yeah, but then also buy the 14-part miniseries, and also buy all the issues that tie into it. Even if it's got Secret Empire on the actual front cover, but doesn't actually have any Secret Empire content in it, you might need to get that. So get it now. So I literally am now down to 1 Marvel book, and that is Man-Thing, and that's gonna end in 2 months. And in 2 months' time, if I don't pick up any of these Generation Legacy titles, this is like the first time in 35 years or so I would never bought a Marvel book in a month, and that's just weird to me. So there's something wrong. So yeah, I'm hoping with this Legacy thing we'll see some kind of like reappeal and bring some of these characters back. But yeah, it's just they've just drifted away, and I've just left it. Man-Thing's the only thing I've kept up with. That's it.
Well, if you haven't been reading Mark Waid's run of Avengers, it's awfully good. I'd say it's some of Mark Waid's best work, and
Okay.
it's with the new Avengers, yeah. But it's boy, this storyline he just finished up with her fighting Kang. I've said it before on podcasts. It's one of the best time travel superhero stories I've read in maybe a decade. It's just well done.
Again, the thing with the Avengers is again, could be my conception of it, but the idea is that back in the day, it used to be if you bought one Avengers book, you needed the 3 other Avengers books to tell the story. Now that doesn't necessarily be true now, because obviously the Avengers at that point in time was, hey, there's an Avengers movie out, let's flood the market. Everybody's an Avenger. Everyone's an Avenger. We've got Avengers. So that may not happen, but
yeah, I've been reading it for about a year, and I haven't picked up anything else to follow. So
again, the thing apparently, again, I believe that Tom Brever has basically kind of disowned the facts, but they're saying that Secret Empire has sold less than 50% of what Civil War 2 sold, and Civil War 2 sold less than Secret Wars. So there was obviously when they did this big thing at the comics doodah a couple of months ago, and they were saying about, yeah, we need events because events really sell. They push forward. Everyone loves events. You're seeing diminishing returns. You're seeing it. I think it's because it's just if it was like every summer, it's like, okay, that's cool, that's fine, because you get like a little 6-7 month gap between the next one. But the idea that one leads into the next one, it just gets fatigue. It's just terrible. So yeah, I as I've said on this podcast many times, and I've recommended it to people, I really love Secret Wars. But I only pretty much bought the core book. That was it. But didn't touch Civil War 2, not touch this, and I believe other people have done the same. They're just like, no, I don't need to see it. It just doesn't make a difference to me. So
yeah, I think you got a lot of guys who are sentimental, like Jacob and myself. I don't really want to see Hydra Agent Cap. I mean, we've just kind of established that Hydra equals Nazis, and I see your point. I mean, having heroes turn bad is almost like one of the 5 classic superhero plots.
Totally, yeah.
And it just happens. With Captain America, I'm not saying they don't have a right to publish the story, do whatever they want to with this fictional character. I'm just going to wait out this plot and pick up the next one. I'm not wishing evil on their house. I just don't want to read this version.
Well, again, the weird thing, partially, I can understand why people are upset about it. I can understand because, again, you can if you really love a character and they mess with your character, you're going to get annoyed about it. But fundamentally, this is the same plot as the Superman 3 movie where Superman turns bad.
Or heck, this was the B plot in Return of the Cape Crusaders where Batman turns bad.
Yeah.
And he goes and makes duplicates of himself to replace Chief O'Hara and Jim Gordon. So yeah.
It's the way it's done, and I mean, I don't know what the situation is and how they're going to resolve it, and I'm assuming it's going to be a cosmic cube resolution, and that's how it's going to.
Oh yeah.
The idea that. Again, because you see like the Amazon story with the Hightower, whatever it is, where you've got the Nazis taking over America or whatever, and you see like an alternate universe. The idea that is there and it's interesting to do, and this is kind of done as a like, okay, they've taken over. This is what's going to happen, and I believe there's like scenes in some of the Secret Empire books where they've got like school teachers telling the kids that Hydra are right, and they do like the Hydra salute. If how are they going to put that back in the box without just doing a cosmic rewrite? Because it's just like that's fundamentally changing the Marvel Universe society. You can't. I don't know how deep they're going to go, but it's yeah. I've spoke to my friends about this, and I made the same problem with the Doctor Who episodes. Is where the Doctor Who episodes go, oh, the Daleks are invaded, they've taken over half the Earth, and then at the end of the episode, everyone goes, well, where are the Daleks? And, oh, people just forget about the Daleks. You go, no, that's terrible. Just don't do something so ridiculous. I'm really hoping that there's some kind of continuation of like at least like something permanent going on in there that doesn't go if it doesn't just get cosmically wiped away, because that's just it's just too good stuff to ignore. It's just like, you know.
You guys remember how Gotham City was wiped out in an earthquake?
Yeah,
in No Man's Land.
In No Man's Land, yeah.
Does that ever come up anymore?
No,
I'm not sure it has since since
No.
you know, President Luthor rebuilt it.
Yeah, that's true. Because again, but the thing about that was that the idea that's a quite good point. That you've got No Man's Land. No Man's Land did leave a gap for Luthor to come in, and again, it kind of made the universe more solid, because then you got like, okay, Luthor's a businessman. Where's he going to go? Well, he's going to move into Gotham City and build some buildings. That made sense. So all these kind of LexCorp buildings kind of popping up actually made sense, and that was pretty cool. And you know, again, it kind of made that more solid. You know, like Coast City disappearing and stuff like that. I mean, Invincible's a really good case, and where they blew up Las Vegas, and it's still blown up. It's still not there anymore. That I love. I think that's brilliant. And I wish, you know, instead of just going, oh, it got better. Don't worry, we just built Las Vegas 2. It came in. People just put some buildings up. It was fantastic. So yeah, I'm hoping that we see some kind of outcome from this that actually hangs around a bit. But you know, Marvel are always keen to kind of just move on to the next thing, and basically just like, oh yeah, people forget about it in 5 years. Don't worry about it. Just forget it. Just do other things. Well, people ain't looking that way. Just pretend it didn't happen.
Jean Grey's alive again. No, she's dead. She's alive. She's dead. Yeah. Well, hey, I need to wrap up and go pick up my kid from daycare. Any final thoughts before we pull the plug?
I'd just like to make a brief announcement regarding Superpowered Legends. We've recently released our 100th PDF product, and we've made the decision to kickstart a collection of everything we've currently released. So there will be a Superpowered Legends source book featuring all the previous characters. I'm going to include a timeline for the universe, and that is going to be happening this September. Depending on what kind of stretch goals we hit, I'm hoping to expand on world information besides the characters.
Do you have an idea what the page count is going to be of that? Because that's going to be substantially large, isn't it?
It's going to be huge.
Great. That's really cool.
Just with the characters that are already involved and the timeline.
Awesome.
So I'm looking forward to working on this. It's going to be fun.
And you're going to have Iconic Legends as a stretch goal on that?
The Iconic Legends is not going to be a stretch goal on this one. What we're wanting to do is make sure we get, see where the stretch goals end with the Superpowered Legends, and thus get the Superpowered Legends book. And that way, when with all the Superpowered Legends stuff, we can then hand that specific manuscript over to you guys at Fainting Goat Games, and you just have to do the conversions for anything in that book, because there are some characters that haven't been converted yet, and then depending on the stretch goals, some characters I haven't even written yet that might be hit with stretch goals, and I'd hate for you to have to work on all of that at the same time. So we're thinking of doing a separate Kickstarter after the Superpower Legends source book has been released. That way we know what it's going to look like, and then we can hand it over to the icons.
Okay. And just to refresh any of our listeners who may have forgotten, Superpowered Legends is your Marvel analog line for Mutants and Masterminds.
Yeah, it is my homage to the Marvel Universe, because Green Ronin took care of characters from the DC. I wanted to show off, if you want to make a patriotic shield flinging character, this is how you do it. If you want to make a guy who was who has spider powers, this is how you do it. If you want to make a deity with a special weapon that manipulates the weather, this is how you do it. So it's basically my homage to the Marvel Universe, yes. Okay,
so is there a patriotic shield character that now turned evil in it as well? That's the question.
No, they're
well, you're missing a trick there.
No, I'm going for the iconic versions of these characters. So yeah.
Okay. And,
because I'm building the universe, and I get to be picky.
Well, hey, with that, we should wrap up. Jacob Aid, thanks for joining us. To our listeners, thanks for listening. Check out Judas Contract. It's a good time, and we will catch you next time on the BAMF Podcast.
Bye.